Well, here we are back again for another FIA Nations Cup. This time, it's one that I've been really looking forward to. Group 1 at Le Mans. The Circuit de la Sarthe. I'm Sean, aka Cleaver Steps. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't seen the previous two races, please feel free to go back on my channel and have a look at them. And if you like them and or this, please feel free to leave a like. Feel free to leave a like. And subscribe if you want to see more, because there's going to be a lot more coming. I was really looking forward to this. Obviously, this happened yesterday from recording time. Bit of a tricky circuit, this one. As you can tell, there's a very, very harsh time penalty thing going on. If you have a look here on the slow-mo as we go through, you can see all four wheels just off the track as you go in the curb. Even though the line is there, you've just got to hit it right. Just about right. And during the practice, I did not. But during practice, I managed to get a 3:32. Unfortunately, I did get a penalty in my last practice lap, but I managed to hit a pretty decent lap time. So I felt not that confident going into qualifying, knowing how much the AE Plus drivers are on. I mean, they're on like 3:14, 3:20. I saw Super GT to do on his stream today. But I knew I could do that. And again, I waited until the track was clear, so that was quite a long time. Although I've since learned the strategy that you should actually just go around it anyway at like second gear. I didn't know about that, but that way you get you lose some fuel, therefore you lose some weight and you go a bit quicker. Again, having to force myself through in order to get a qualifying time, and then I went and did this. I hit the sausage curb. Could have got probably a 3:35 maybe from that, and I would have had the pace to carry on to the next one and actually get a decent lap time maybe on the next lap. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And as you can see, I really struggled to rejoin the track. And again, that is something else that I've learned since from watching other people do this. So yeah, 3:51 was my lap time, so we qualified quite far down the order. There we are, 17th. Again, not great. Not plumb last, but there anyway. And this is the thing that I've learned now as we come into the start of the race, is what I should do, because I'm running without traction control, is that I should put traction control onto at least one during the start. Now, I have no idea what the actual traction control is on these cars, and I do want to try and have them as authentically as possible, but the moment I do go into this, I sort of spun or was spinning, but I also got a bit tapped. There's a long boy there, hello. So as is the theme of this series, once again, absolutely rock bottom last. Made up a place already because somebody else crashed and burned. And there was a lot of penalties already as we're coming into the first part of the chicane by the Dunlop Bridge. So as you can see, we're going to go through, as we always do, the first lap on its own. And it is really difficult to get past some of these guys, because this guy had a penalty and he just stopped dead. And the long boy in front of me, and he tapped me there for good measure. The long boy in front, it's just really difficult to get there. And another person's crashed and burned. So we're already up to 16th. He misses the corner. We're through. There we go. Here we are then, Mulsanne Straight, trying to get the pace up, and of course the Mazda 787B is probably the best one here for that kind of speed, although the long boy is really, really good on a straight line. It's just really rubbish in the corners. So yeah, first down to the first chicane. After we'd beaten the long boy at Tetra Rouge, we're going to get past him, and here is another stranded boy, and I wasn't sure whether he was going to ghost back in or not. He didn't, so I just ploughed straight through as we go on to the second part of the Mulsanne Straight before the next chicane. Nice little toe onto the Porsche, trying to outbrake. I should not have the speed on him. He should have the speed, but he isn't up to speed as quick as I am. Almost overshot the corner, had to really break down. And the one thing I really struggled with on this course and this car, I'm not used to this car. at all was the brake balance, of getting the car feeling balanced and right braking. It was either always too back heavy or too front heavy, and it was too unresponsive if I just had it flat default 0 brake balance. So it was a real struggle to try and find it without hot swapping it in between anything else, because I didn't really want to do that. Into Mulsanne, another guy has crashed and burned after a collision. We're up to 12th after being absolutely last before we even crossed the line. So this is going incredibly well so far. Feeling quite confident. I feel like I've got the pace here on everybody else on this course. I mean, the top qualifier was a 332. I chickened out of that one a little bit. I could have got there, but he defended the track quite well. And of course, as you can tell, I'm very paranoid about hitting the track limits going down into Indianapolis. It's really hard. Into Arnage, thought about sending a send, I didn't, but I outbraked myself, so I left some space. But these guys got penalties anyway, so we'll see them shortly as we head up towards the Porsche curves. But yeah, I just couldn't get the balance of this car right going into braking. I didn't want to keep like going through the menu and adjusting the brake balance on this, even though I could have done. So it is what it is, and I have to kind of cope with it and learn about it. Now, as you can see, I've got some pace going through here, and I've got the pace on pretty much everybody in this race apart from the front two. I could easily have done laps like the front two would have done. I had to brake there so that I didn't overrun here, because again, the track limits is very, very harsh, and all of these people are about to get a penalty. And if I'd had a bit more confidence, I could have probably zoomed a bit more, but I didn't know whether these guys were going to pop in, and they did just then. But we're up to 8th place. There's one punt, another guy goes. This guy's really slow coming out of the corner. We'll meet him again later. But yeah, out of the Ford chicane, 6th place. 6th place. From last to 6th in one lap. And then, I ruined it a little bit, because as I say, with the brake balance, I just couldn't get the car right. Just couldn't get it feeling right. So here we are, back down to 8th, and we're about to be back down to 9th with a little bit of close racing there with the Mazda. He's got me on the outside. I had to brake, because otherwise he was just going to tank into me, and I didn't want that. But then we've got a couple of guys behind me as well. Still more penalties. I was a little bit unsure of whether I was going to get a penalty there, so I let up off the accelerator. I didn't want to get a penalty. That was my one thing this race, so I didn't want to get a penalty. Got one anyway. So that was a bit of a shame out of Tetra Ridge. And here we are coming down towards the next chicane. This guy absolutely goes past me because we've been slow anyway coming into this. But we're kind of at full speed here into the braking zone, and massive F in the chat. And because I'm running on... I was hoping to slalom through that, and obviously that was never going to happen, but because I'm running no traction control, I am just sliding all over this. All of those places I made up are gone, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Let's see a replay of what happened there, because here we are, pretty much back down to last. Still got the penalty from there, and here we go. Just absolutely outrageously punted. And if you're wondering if the guy did get a penalty, he did. Here's his view as he comes out of the corner. A 4-second penalty. 4-second penalty for dropping me from 8th to pretty much last. And yeah, as you can see, I just can't get the control of the car. But anyway, so then begins the long battle, and therefore the long cut of getting back up. Here we are, we're back up into 15th at this place. I came in far too hot, and this guy was going quite slow going into Indianapolis, so I had to outbrake and spin it out a bit. But again, managed to survive it. No pit stops for me this race. A little bit of a spoiler. There has been some pit stops in there, but no spoilers for anybody else. They've all had pit stops. And here we are again, the guy that got the penalty for knocking me down. He's all the way down here in 16th. We're down in 17th again after that spin at Indianapolis, and he's being very, very defensive on the line, and I basically just let him go, because I'm pretty sure at some point I'm going to outdrive him or he's going to get a penalty. And as we are coming into Indianapolis on this 5th lap out of the 7, one guy crashes and burns. Up to 16th we go. thought about this end, realised I wasn't going to. Little collision, knocks the Porsche out. Here we go. And another guy on the right has gone. And he gets a penalty for knocking him off. And as we can't say fairer than that, really. We've had one self-inflicted penalty from going right at Tête Rouge. Haven't hit anybody, but everybody else has, and we've been falling prey to it as we go into the Porsche curves. I don't even need to think about the penalty. He just loses it. Just absolutely loses it. And good riddance to you, sir. No S for you. But here we are again. A couple of laps later, back into 13th. I thought this guy was going to bin it massively there, which is why I heavily braked. I was also a little bit unsure if I was going to make the corner. But again, another penalty spot. We go past. He goes back in, but not quick enough. And there we are, up to 12th as we go into the Force Chicane. Another guy crashes and burns, gets a penalty, up to 11th. Making ground again. And we feel that we're going to do quite well here, I think. I've been looking forward to this race for a while. It's my preferred car and track, probably in the entirety of Gran Turismo Sport. It's what I always do. If I ever put on the VR headset, I go straight into this. But anyway, we're going to see the, I believe, the entirety of this last lap with this guy. I think if you remember him before, we overtook him. And here we go into the last lap. Battling away against this Mazda who's still keeping up with me as we went through the initial part of the course. But we've skipped ahead all the way to Mulsanne, where I am used as a braking point. Am I? Am I just being a little bit too passive if I leave it too open? Nope, I was used as a brake. Punted again. But no penalty this time. No penalty. And what you're about to see is some really hard racing. This guy is owning the middle of the course. He's absolutely blocking it. I tried to commit him to take the line into Indianapolis coming up. I kind of let him go a bit for that because I'm kind of hoping he outbrakes himself and I can just swing on past. But he does do that, but not enough. And I'm a little bit too cautious. But we're way up there, and he's just too slow off there, and we couldn't get there. Forces me to the outside as we go into Arnage. Can't get there. Another guy. We've got back markers now as we're coming to the end of the race. Heading now towards Porsche Curves. I want the inside. I don't want to go around the outside of him on the Porsche Curves. And look at where he's forcing me into. He's just defending the track for all he can. After using me as a brake, but you know, maybe racing instant. So here we go. He slows down massively. He cuts the corner. I have to go to the outside and punted again. And the lack of traction control and the slide, it's game over for me there. And again, not even putting that much acceleration onto this. Down to 12th. So from 10th to 12th, and what was a good battle down to 13th. This guy's got a penalty, of course. We now have very little grip on our tyres, as you can see, but this guy bins it. We've lost it, and we finally hit someone. Racing incident, nobody's fault, except I get a 2-second penalty for that. 2 seconds, which I can't knock off, so that's going on to my time at the end of the race. I've got so much damage. My engine is damaged, my front is damaged, and there's the end of the race. And we end up finishing 12th. Let's have a little look again at that end series of stuff in the replay. Because at the time I was like, have I just run wide? Have I been punted? Obviously I got used as a braking point into Mulsanne. But here we are. We're out of Arnage. We're coming into the first part of the Porsche curve. And he slowed down massively. I slowed down. I had to go around the outside and I'm tapped. No penalty. No penalty. Absolutely no penalty. And then here, just absolutely nothing I can do there. I am surprised. I wouldn't have got a penalty if that guy was ghosted. And there we go in the chat. What was that crap? And unfortunately, everybody else has left the chat by the time I can get to say my annoyance at this. Oh dear. And I was really looking forward to this race. I think I could have got a strong top 6 finish in that race. And one mistake by myself at the beginning yet again. And right at the end, and all through it, just being absolutely mullered by people. And sure, they got penalties, but it didn't really ruin their race as much as ours. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've got some comments that you want to leave or want to talk about. Feel free to, as we win yet another Japanese car. Hello, Toyota Supra. Yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe, let us know. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.